Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the June 19th of 2018 edition of Our City, shown live right here in the Mayor's office at the Muscatine City Hall. We have two great guests coming up, Nicole Sorgenfrey with United Way and Kelsey Brackett, one of our newest Muscatine City Councilman, who's going to talk about the Soapbox Derby on the 4th of July. But first off, I just would like to touch base a little bit. Last week was Flag Day, June 14th. That's a holiday that's always been special to my family and me. My grandpa, Martin Harold, was born on Flag Day, so every year we celebrated Flag Day and his birthday at the same time. So it is something that really means a lot to me. And a couple of times I've shared on Flag Day a poem, a song, not really a song, but it was actually done as a song. Johnny Cash wrote it and actually recorded it, and I'd like to share that with you. I didn't get a chance to do it this year at the Muscatine Council meeting, so I'd like to do that with you now if you don't mind. It's called The Ragged Old Flag by John Cash. I walked through a county courthouse square. On a park bench, an old man was sitting there. I said, "Your old courthouse is kind of run down." He said, "Nah, it'll do for our little town." I said, "Your old flagpole has leaned a little bit, and that's a ragged old flag you've got hanging on it." He said, "Have a seat," and so I sat down. "Is this the first time you've been to our little town?" I said, "I think it is." And he said, "Well, I don't like to brag, but we're kind of proud of that ragged old flag. You see, we got a little hole in that flag there when Washington took it across the Delaware, and it got powder burned the night Francis Scott Key sat watching it, writing, 'Oh, say, can you see?' And it got a bad rip in New Orleans, with Pakenham and Jackson tugging at its seams. And it almost fell at the Alamo beside the Texas flag, but she waved on though. She got cut with a sword at Chancellorsville, and she got cut again at Shiloh Hill. There was Robert E. Lee, Beauregard, and Bragg, and the south wind blew hard on that ragged old flag. On Flanders Field in World War I, she got a big hole from a Bertha gun. She turned blood red in World War II. She hung limp and low by the time it was through. She was in Korea and Vietnam. She was sent where she was by her Uncle Sam. She waved from our ships upon the briny foam, and now they've about quit waving her back here at home. In her own good land here, she's been abused. She's been burned, dishonored, denied, and refused. And the government for which she stands is scandalized throughout the land, and she's getting threadbare and wearing thin, but she's in good shape for the shape she's in. 'Cause she's been through the fire before, and I believe she can take a whole lot more. So we raise her up every morning, take her down every night. We don't let her touch the ground, and we fold her upright. On second thought, I do like to brag, 'cause I'm mighty proud of that ragged old flag. Thank you. Thank you for letting me read that. It means a lot to me. Now we're excited to start our show, and we have with us Nicole Sorgenfrey from United Way. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for inviting me.
Sure. Well, one thing I really wanted to make sure that we talked about with the folks at home was the summer lunch program.
Yes.
Can you explain what that's about?
So the summer lunch program is actually called the Summer Food Service Program.
Okay.
It's a USDA program.
Mm-hmm.
So we apply for that. This will be our 4th year.
Okay.
So we get partially reimbursed per meal that's served. So we write grants for the rest of it.
Okay.
And we get, the churches back us up. The Ministerial Association actually is the one that came and talked to us and kind of pushed us to take over the contract when the school district decided that they could no longer keep that contract going.
Because they used to do it, right?
Correct.
The school district. Okay.
But they did it, they run it the same way, so they did it with paid staff.
Okay.
So we run it with all volunteer base.
Always better.
Well, and with it, so we pay $3.85 per meal and we get $3.45 reimbursed. So there's still 40 cents per meal. So if we get 50 meals sent to a site and only 45 are served, we have to pay full price for those other 5 meals. So there's a lot of little costs that come through. So we serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we started the beginning of June, and we'll serve till August 3rd. We are not serving on the July 4th for the holiday.
Just that day?
Correct.
Okay.
So we'll serve every other day. So right now, we serve breakfast at Franklin, Jefferson, Madison, McKinley, and Salvation Army.
Okay.
We serve breakfast from 7:30 to 8:15.
Okay, 45-minute time period. They could come and eat.
Correct.
Whenever they want.
So all meals are free to children 18 and under.
Okay.
Or if a child has special needs, 26 and under.
All right.
Adult meals are $2.
Okay.
So, and then we're serving about 150 breakfasts right now, which is really good.
That is good.
But there's a lot of things going on. We have the school summer school program, and then we have college for kids going on right now too. So it's easy for the parents to take them to breakfast and then have them go to their activities.
Sure.
And then we serve lunch. So we serve lunch from 11:15 to 12:30. And this is where, so we use volunteers for breakfast and we use volunteers for lunch. So we currently are serving lunch at Franklin, Jefferson, Madison, McKinley, Salvation Army, the high school, and Sunset Park. And we're serving 400 lunches.
400.
400.
Wow.
And it's amazing. So it's at all 4 schools, it's roughly about 80 kids per site. And then Salvation Army, we were serving about 55. Sunset Park, 25, and the high school, about 25.
Okay.
So the high school has some summer programming going on as well. So they have driver's ed. They have if a kid needs to make up a class. So there's things going on through the end of June. So we're serving for those kids as well.
Okay.
So that is exciting. But so volunteers.
I was going to say, where do you get these volunteers?
So what we really do is we work with the Ministerial Association.
Okay.
So we have churches that have sponsored one day per week at a site. So they'll take Tuesday at Madison or what have you, and then they'll find volunteers to work in that. And then we have individuals that are retired that will help us. We have a couple high school students that are working on their silver cord that will help us.
Sure.
So
How many do you need? How many volunteers for each site?
So about 2 to 3.
Okay.
Just depending
Just
on,
to dip out the food or okay.
So the volunteers show up at 11:15 and they serve till 12:30, and then we have a coordinator at each site that brings all the food to the site and then takes it all back.
And is the coordinator the same always?
Yes.
Okay.
So we were able to receive a grant from the Community Foundation to pay for 4 employee staffs.
Okay.
So we
so you can count on those.
We worked with the school district on with their lunch folks, and folks could apply for it, and that's who we hired. So they already know the kitchens. Good. They know all the ins and outs on that. So,
because I was going to ask you, where do you get the food? Who cooks it?
So we have a contract with the school district, and they actually cook our food.
Oh, that's nice.
So the first year that we did it, it was with the hospital. Because the school district really needed to step back of it. So then they came back and said, okay, we can help you out. So they are helping us out, and they cook the food. It's a vendor, so we still pay them for it. But, yeah.
So the reason they got out of it then was probably more financial because of having to pay staff. But since you're using volunteers, you can still make a go of it.
Correct.
Okay.
So it's about a $220,000 project.
Wow.
And so we fall anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000 short every year. But we send out donation letters to the churches. So we get anywhere from $200 to $400 per church. And then United Way always budgets to help us out.
Okay, good, good.
And then Kent has a program that we can write a grant for them. And the funds only go towards kids and food. So that always works out with us.
That's helpful. That is helpful.
And then we also have a couple sites that are doing a snack program.
Snack, okay.
So yeah, so we can serve up to 2 meals per site. So Sunset Park, Flickinger, and the library are doing snacks. So the library just started this week. They have afternoon programming with their children, with anybody's children, but and so they can come and have a snack. And then Flickinger's doing a program in the afternoon as well, which is also free to children if they want to get signed up.
Yeah.
And then Sunset Park they have about 25 kids down there that are.
So can anybody go to those sites though?
At Flickinger or the library, they can.
Okay.
And, if they show up, if they're in the area of Sunset Park, which is kind of away from everything else, yes, they can.
They're not going to turn them away from a snack. So what time do they have snack?
2:30.
2:30. Okay.
So yeah,
And that's free to all the children also?
18 and under.
Okay. And what give us some examples of what a snack would be?
So everything is, all the food that we serve is in the healthy spectrum. So we have to follow USDA rules. So I'll just start from the beginning. So breakfast has to be 2 components of the meal wheel. So our 3 components.
Okay.
So we serve cereal, fruit, and milk.
Okay.
So lunch has to be 1 compartment of all 5 items. So we'll have milk. Like today we had pulled pork, a bun, corn, and a fresh fruit.
Okay. And then their milk.
Yep.
So that's all 5? Okay. So is breakfast always cereal, fruit, and
Juice or
juice?
fruit, whatever we have.
Okay.
And then an afternoon snack has to be 2 components.
Okay.
So some days it's string cheese and apples, or it can be goldfish and milk. I mean, just whatever.
Okay. And you can pick whichever components.
Right.
Could be celery and peanut butter.
Right.
That would
and
be
if
the
you
fruit
go,
milk.
yeah,
Okay.
if you go to our website, unitedwaymuscatine.org, has the menus of the school for the summer food program for the month of June.
Okay.
So the top part talks about breakfast, middle is lunch, and then the end is the afternoon snack.
Okay. And there's no supper.
No.
Okay.
We've always wanted to do a dinner
Yeah.
someplace, but it just hasn't worked.
Because there is no like bags of blessings, right?
Right, and we
In
can.
the
But what we just started last week, which is like really exciting, we paired up with the food pantry, and so when they have extra food that, on Fridays that they can't hold over till Monday, they're dropping it off at Sunset Park and the 4 schools. So then kids can take a couple items to go home with for the weekend.
Okay, that's good. Because this is only Monday through Friday, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But we still have loaves and fishes. And,
Sure. Because there are folks that worry, what about the weekend?
Right.
But Loaves and Fishes is every Saturday
And then,
at MCSA.
Amaya's Cafe is on Sundays.
Yes, and that is in the
First Presbyterian.
right kind of catty corner
Yeah,
across from
exactly.
MCSA.
So there is a free meal every day of the week. There's a hot free meal every day of the week. And then something that's also exciting to me is all the leftover food gets donated to MCSA. So then they can use that, they freeze it and use it for dinner throughout the year. So nothing gets wasted.
That's
So I
good.
don't like waste.
And are you still doing the program where you pick up the produce and take it to? Yes. Can
Yes.
you want to talk about that just a minute?
Sure. So that's called a food rescue program. So we're going on year 4 for that as well. So what we do is we pick up from grocery stores and restaurants and then take it to food pantries. And then we have a route every week. So there's 2 pickups each day. So it can be Hy-Vee Main Street, Hy-Vee, the big Hy-Vee out on 2nd Avenue, KFC, Pizza Hut, Pizza Ranch, and then we just added Come and Go and Aldi's.
So they have food that they can't hold anymore.
Correct. And so they freeze it.
Okay.
So like we have Little Caesars. And we pick up there 3 days a week.
Okay.
So they have the hot and ready, the $5 hot and
Yes,
ready.
yes.
Well, they can only hold them for so long. So when they go bad, they put them in the freezer and hold them for us.
And then
we
you
come-
guys can pick up. Isn't that amazing? Rather than have that all go in the garbage, somebody
Correct.
can eat that.
Yes.
And then you take it to the food pantries.
So we have a rotation. So we work with Jesus Mission, the Salvation Army Food Pantry, and then the main Muscatine Food Pantry.
Yep.
And then we also take things to MCSA on holidays because they're open 24/7.
Sure.
So that really helps out because the grocery stores are open 24/7 as well. So we always have pickup
Sure.
even on holidays.
Right.
So yeah, it's really exciting. We're able to do this through the Good Samaritan Act. So if you are donating expired food to those who are in need, you're covered under that
You're
act.
covered. You don't have to worry about, oh, it's outdated. I can't give it away. You can.
So during the fall, winter, and spring, Salvation Army has a hot meal 3 days a week.
Right.
So KFC and the Pizza Hut and Little Caesars, they are able to warm that back up and serve it back out.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, so it really does work out. And
Sure.
you know, Little Caesars, the kids are always excited
Oh,
about
yeah.
pizza when it gets donated to MCSA. So
Sure.
it's very exciting because it's not going into the landfill. So
It's great for our community. I mean, I think most people realize that we have such a high rate of families that are eligible for free and reduced lunches in our community, which means we have a lot of people that are struggling to cover the cost of food for their family.
correct. So we're at 53% on the free and reduced, and we have about 5,000 people in Muscatine County who are food insecure, and food insecure means they don't know where their next meal is. And half of those are kids.
Isn't
So
that
those are just
sad?
horrible numbers.
So this is amazing, the programs that you're doing to try to address that.
Thanks.
Well, we really, really appreciate it. I mean, just think, and what I really like is it's at a location that these kids can get to. Even if mom and dad are working, these schools are in the neighborhoods. They can
Right.
walk over to the school.
And we have a lot of that.
And there's, yeah.
And you
Because
really
mom
get
and
to-
dad
I
are
mean,
trying to work, and
It's so rewarding to volunteer because you get to know these kids and
Sure.
you know, talk with them as they come through lunch, ask them how their day's going, what they're going to do this afternoon, and that means a lot to some of these kids. So
oh, sure. It gives them that contact outside of
right.
being in the house.
So
all
yeah,
day.
if you're interested in volunteering, we're still needing volunteers.
They can
We
call you at United Way?
Yep, at 563-263-5963.
Okay. What other kind of things do we need to know about?
Well, the 4th of July is coming up,
Yes,
and our
it
Kids
is.
First program always does pancakes, so we'll be serving pancakes at the Walnut Rooms this year. And then at the end of July is our big food drive for the year, which is called Thanksgiving in July. And this was started by a gentleman at Mercy Hospital in Iowa City, and he has just grown it with food pantries in counties throughout Iowa. So it's exciting. So on the 22nd, we promote it to churches, and we want them to do a food drive. And then that Monday through Friday of that week, we ask companies to do food drives, hold jeans days, what have you. And then on that Saturday, we will be at Hy-Vee having $5 bags.
Okay.
And then collecting
Those
the
are so
food out there.
handy.
It is.
It is.
I mean, ever since we started doing that, it's been amazing.
It is. So then all the food that you collect from these food drives, you take it to the local food pantries?
Correct. We take it and we weigh it, and then we divide it up.
Okay.
So some of the items might get saved away for the lockers during the school year.
Sure.
We'll also make sure the food pantry and Salvation Army receive items as well.
Good.
Yeah.
Great project. And if you want to just briefly talk about Kids First Fund, it's an amazing program that's been out there for quite a while that I don't know that everybody really knows about it, but I sure wish they would.
Yeah, so our Kids First program, it's just make sure kids feel one with their peers. I mean,
Yes.
that really is what it does.
So important.
So right now they're in the middle. We paired up with the radio station and we're doing sweating for school supplies. So we collect school supplies throughout the summer, and then we work with Community Action, and we make sure all kids that are in need get school supplies.
Good.
Community Action is only able to service up to a certain percentage of those who are in poverty, and so we want to make sure everyone gets school supplies.
Good.
And then by doing those, we are able to do our pancake breakfasts and raise funds for those kind
Sure.
of things.
And what the other thing that Kids First Fund does that I think is really important, a lot of the families I work with, if their child wants to play soccer, but the family can't afford to have them play because they have to have these shoes, I've sent them over to Kids First Fund and said, go tell them that you need shoes, and almost every single time they cover the cost of those shoes.
Correct. So we also cover fees for sports, and so we have worked with like Parks and Rec and the Y on just either doing a direct bill or getting a reduced price.
Yep.
So at the Y, we're always able to get a member price, which is great.
Sure.
And we have a ton of kids. We do basketball and soccer through there, and then we do gymnastics, a lot of gymnastics through Parks.
Well, because we all know how important it is to keep kids involved in
And that's
their
what it's all
community.
about.
But it costs, you know,
Yeah.
to be involved in all those things. And parents are oftentimes strapped just, you know, paying for rent and groceries and those kinds of things. And in all fairness, that's an extra, but it's a very important extra for kids.
And that's one of the biggest reasons why they started the Kids First
Yeah.
Fund, is that we found that kids who are more active and they stay connected, they do better in school.
Sure.
They're more likely to graduate from high school and go on. So that's what we want to make sure. We want to make sure that kids feel one with their peers and they're staying checked in.
Yeah,
So,
very, very important.
yes.
Very
Yes, we're
glad.
excited.
Glad you're doing that.
Well, thank you.
It's such a good service. I know all the families we work with at the Y all the time talk about how wonderful it is, and it's helped their kids go to camp even.
Yep.
I mean, summer camps are coming up, and I mean, we all have great fond memories of going to summer camp. So,
But yeah, it gets expensive every
it
year.
sure does.
You know?
It sure does. As costs go up for the camp with food and all the supplies and things that they need. So,
Well, that was an interesting statistic. I mean, we work with trying to make sure that families are meeting, making ends meet.
Right.
And so within the last 10 years, expenses have gone up 42%, but wages have only gone up 6%.
Isn't that something?
And so, that's just a really interesting statistic.
It is. It is.
It's like, well, no wonder. I mean,
no wonder
I'm a
families
middle
are
income.
struggling.
It's like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After you pay your bills each month, you're like, wow, the checkbook keeps going lower and lower. What am I doing
Exactly.
wrong?
Because it's not keeping up. Yeah, wages aren't keeping up.
It's interesting.
So we need programs like yours, and that's why we need to donate too.
Exactly.
To support programs
And
like
you
this
can
and
donate.
volunteer.
You can donate in so many different ways. You can advocate, you can volunteer, or you can just, stop in or send us some money. So
That's right.
We love volunteers, and we love folks that are
sure.
interested in us. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you
thanks
so
for
much
having
for
me.
coming. Yes. Thanks. We'll have you back again because I know you're going to have something else on the horizon coming up.
Yeah, well, they don't like me to be bored.
Yeah, there you go. Well, why would you want to have a bunch of free time on your hands?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we don't need that. Well, thanks again.
You're welcome.
All
Thank
right.
you.
And thank you, everyone at home, as we're getting ready to move on into our second guest. I would like to just share with you some stuff that we had going on recently, some real exciting stuff. The YMCA, as most of you know, has just been going through a major expansion, and we have put $7 million that was donated by the community into expanding and making it be the kind of facility that our community deserves and wants to have for our families. And so, because of that, we had business after hours at the Y this past Thursday, and we welcomed the community the entire week to come out for tours and for all kinds of refreshments. We had donuts and coffee in the morning so people could come work out even longer to burn off everything that they were just eating for breakfast. It was a wonderful event. Lots of folks came out. And if you haven't seen our new Y yet, please stop by anytime. We'll take you on a tour. This is our new exercise area. You know what, everybody says, oh man, it's huge now, and this is only one side of it. You're only seeing one side here because there's some utility rooms in the middle. But we really didn't make it bigger. All we did was take out the track. Taking out the track made it so much more bigger. We brought the floor up and leveled it out. We took everybody on tours. This is right outside of the new gym that's out back. And if you drive by the Y, you'll see this building with little holes in it. Those are like windows back there. It's a beautiful, beautiful new gym. The gym's in the middle and also a workout room. There you go. There's the new gym, and it looks so neat, both from the inside and the outside. And then the entire perimeter of it is the track. So these are folks that came out on Thursday to our business after hours. They all signed in and took tours and walked around, and we were so pleased to be able to show off the new facility to them. It was a great evening. I think we have just a few more pictures here. Of course, we had Chef Tess. Chef Tess came out from Hy-Vee and made refreshments for everyone on Thursday night. You can't get much better than Chef Tess, I don't think. Great, great group of folks came out. We had a nice time to visit. This is the entryway here, the business desk and the service center there. We call them the Welcome Center now, and I can't remember what the other one is called. We're changing the names of some of our rooms, and you know it's hard to get in that habit. So this is some more Chef Tess's food and snacks here, because we have to have a little bit of that with our working out. There's Jim Simmons from Hy-Vee. It was a great evening. But don't worry, if you missed it, you can come out anytime. Thanks again for letting us show off our new facility there. We have our next guest with us here, and it's Kelsey Brackett. Kelsey's been in Muscatine a long, long time and doing a lot of great things for our community. One new thing that he's doing is he got himself elected to city council in November of 2017 and took office in January of 18. We love having him on the council. The community's certainly loving reaching out to him whenever they need him. And he's also a big volunteer, like we were just talking about with Nicole Sorgenfrey. Volunteers are always needed, and Kelsey's one of those. And he came today to talk about a new project he's working on, the Soapbox Derby.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you, Kelsey.
We are getting really close to the event. So
Yes.
it's going to be on the 4th of July, as it
Okay.
has been for the past 2 years.
Uh-huh.
And this was an event that had been, I don't remember what year it was that it stopped, but it had been going on from year to year,
Yep.
many years ago.
My dad was in it many years ago, right?
And it had been a big thing. I don't, I'm honestly not sure what the history was that got that.
I don't
to
know
where
when it
came
quit.
to
Right.
an end. But the Leadership Muscatine group took that up as something to bring back a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And they really brought that forward. Got a lot of people excited. And just, I saw the community get excited about it, and it was something to do. It's just something.
Crowds came out.
Big
Yes,
crowds.
yes.
And, the nice thing about it is there's, it's just a fun day.
Yep.
And it's something where people can get out and, work together on a project.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, you compete, but there's no, everybody's a winner just
Right.
by, really, just because you get to have fun.
Yep.
The first year that it came back, the team that I had, I work at Stanley Consultants, and they sponsored a car for us, and we got it in, and we had a lot of fun putting it together, and then we did terrible in the race. But, we didn't crash. We didn't
Well,
crash.
hey,
And that
that's
was
one
the
thing.
first year, that was kind of my goal the first year was don't
crash.
And
Walk away.
so Leadership Muscatine, the same group, they did it again the following year. But, some of them have moved out of town. Some of them have had other responsibilities come up.
Sure,
There's been some
sure.
new children and things like that. And so they were having trouble finding enough volunteers to keep it going. And so between, Brian Steinman, the Director of Public Works
Sure.
here in Muscatine, myself, John Haggerty, and some of the original volunteers as well, got together and decided, we got to keep this going. We have a lot of fun with it. We saw how much fun people were having with it. So we couldn't let it stop.
Nope.
And what we did then was we met, and sat down and talked, can we pull this off? Because we didn't realize until it was kind of creeping already into the year.
It goes fast.
And it does go fast. You
Sure.
lose time fast. So what we did was we decided to go ahead and put it together, and we even added some things to it. So this
Okay.
year we added a youth division. So there'll be kids 10 to 15, and then the adult division is still 16 and up.
Okay.
But we're going to have a youth division this year, and we've got some people coming in from out of state. Even
Really?
For that, yes, for that
Isn't
part of
that
it.
neat?
So we won't have a whole lot of kids racers this year. Hoping to build upon that next
Yeah.
year, but we're going to have enough to make it worthwhile for them.
Oh, sure.
And then they will start at a lower point in the hill.
Okay.
Because they may
The
be
kids,
the kids
sure,
will
sure.
they may be running cars that are just as fast as the cars the adults are running, but I'd rather not have them hit the same speeds, because last year we were up over 30 mile an hour coming down
Wow.
this third. So
That's pretty steep.
I don't know that we need a 10-year-old going that fast.
No.
So, but
Or the mother might not want them.
or they might.
That's true.
The family coming in from out of town, it sounds like this is kind of their thing. So they may
They like
be,
to go around to derbies.
They may be ringers coming in to show us how to do it.
Wow.
So that could be fun. We're also adding some additional activities during the race event. So one of the issues that we had noticed over the past couple of years was anytime there was downtime, people didn't really know what to do, and there's points during the race where you end up with just waiting.
Sure.
And so what we're doing this year is we're looking to have some crowdsourced racing that goes on just on the flat section on or in between Iowa Avenue and Sycamore, right out there on 3rd Street.
Okay.
So we are looking to, it's not 100% set in stone exactly, because we're getting a few pieces put together there as far as all of the things, but what we're looking to have is I don't know if you've seen any of those adult tricycles.
Yes.
That type of thing. We should have those.
Okay.
I believe those are set in stone at this point. And we're looking to also have some kids' big wheels.
Uh-huh.
And there may be a few other things that we're able
And
to
the
pull
kids
together.
can just do those?
So what we'll do is they'll still need to do a waiver because it is an event. So we'll need to have
Sure.
their parents sign a waiver. So they have to have a parent present or a
Okay.
parent guardian present
Yeah.
to sign a waiver. But there's not going to be any entry fee on that, and hopefully we'll have a number of little giveaways for the winners of those races, so
Okay.
they can get a prize.
Sure.
And so we are looking. That kind of actually leads into we are still looking for sponsors.
Oh, okay.
That might want to use this as a way to give back to the community as well as to advertise
Sure,
their business. So
So do they do them like when you go to the stock car races? Are they like on the cars?
that isn't the kind of sponsors that we're looking for
Okay.
as far as the event planners go. So we will do things like we have sponsorships, so bronze, silver, and gold, where they can donate or basically they sponsor dollar amounts, and they
Sure.
can reach out to me for that, and they're
Okay.
flexible there.
All right.
We have that actually on
Just to help cover the cost of the event.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Because we are working through the Muscatine, the Greater Community Foundation of Muscatine
Mm-hmm.
to work as a nonprofit. So this is not something where we're trying to make money. We just want to make sure that we get enough money to cover the cost of the event.
Sure.
And then be able to start the process again over the following year.
Yep.
And so, and like I said, we want to continue to add new things to it. And maybe eventually, look at breaking it away from the 4th, giving it its own weekend.
Oh, sure.
You
Are
know,
these I'm sorry, are these the sponsors?
These are sponsors, right? These are sponsors from previous years, and some of
Okay.
them have signed up for this year.
All right.
And so what they will get is they will get additional exposure from sponsoring again if they choose to come back. And some of the people you're seeing here have already committed for this year.
Oh, that's great.
But these are the 2017 sponsors that you're
Okay.
seeing. And Hy-Vee goes out for us. They do a good job. I know you were
Okay.
just talking about Hy-Vee in the last section
Yep.
on the show here. They do a great job.
Sure.
They're going to be working with the Chamber Ambassadors Group.
Okay.
They'll be selling food on the in the parking lot next to Central State or
Oh, that's good.
next to CVI.
Sure.
And so there will be food available. There's going to be some other food vendors as well. Butcher's Vegetables is going to have their cart down
All
there,
right.
and they'll have that available. There'll be some other beverage vendors as well.
So maybe down the road you might not do it on 4th of July.
Possibly. And this
Okay.
year I think will kind of help us make that decision.
How big the crowd is.
Right, how
what
big the crowd is. If it turns out that it really blends well to give people something to do for the whole day, then then it's a
Sure,
good fit.
sure.
But that was kind of the struggle I think that they had the past 2 years, was being able to have the event go, and then the big gap in between the
Sure.
races and the parade and other parades that are going on around in the area.
People don't want to, come down for this and then go home, come back for
Right.
this, go home, come back. Yeah.
Right,
Sure.
and so and as well as these out of town racers too, where this year the 4th of July is on a Wednesday, so that they kind of have to. It just falls differently. So if they
Sure.
can plan for a Saturday, sometimes
It might
that's
be easier for them to get away.
And so that's something we are going to send out a poll after
Okay.
after this. I'll end up having one after the event. We'll have one on the website, the Facebook page, as well as to a direct one that will go out
Okay.
to the participants of the race. But I will want public feedback, through our Facebook and through the
And what
website
people thought about
after
it. Sure.
after the event, to let us know what we can do differently,
Sure.
and if there's really a push to put it to its own weekend.
Yep.
And obviously still a summer weekend, but that's an idea that we've been playing around with. There is still room for additional entries.
Okay.
It's coming up close, so you'd have to be,
Yeah.
you'd have to be fairly quick if you were
You
going
have
to
to
start
have
from
a car
scratch.
already. Is this last year?
That is some of last year's cars.
Okay.
And so we had, and actually one of the cars, the coffin car that I saw go by. Well, that's Brian Steinman right there, the director of Public Works.
Oh, sure it is.
That car is actually available to be driven by somebody else, I believe. And we have a few others. Yeah, you might have heard a chuckle there. There's
Sure.
that one was crashed. It did crash last year.
Did it?
So there's some cautionary tale that go along with that car.
fun.
But we have some of the previous year's racers that have created new cars, and they have their old cars that they are volunteering
Sure. To let somebody else use.
for other drivers.
That's
What we're
nice.
looking for is youth drivers
Sure.
that might be interested in that, and to find out what we have left, because if people have been directly contacted, I don't know right now what
Right.
is still available. But
Okay.
people can reach out to me,
Okay.
and either through a phone call, text message, Facebook, or email. And so,
Okay.
you can go to muscatinederby.com to get the basic contact details for the Derby. You can go to muscatineiowa.gov and go to the city council site on there to reach out to me,
To
get
you
my
personally.
contact information.
Okay. And I found it on Facebook, Muscatine Soapbox Derby.
Correct.
Soapbox, all one word.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
on
they can
Facebook.
do contact, send you a message right there.
Exactly. Yeah. If
Easy.
you're chatting with the Muscatine Soapbox Derby Facebook page, you're chatting with me.
There you go.
So that's actually, there's a number of the racers are starting to post some of their progress pictures of their cars. I think some of them are wanting to have it be a surprise on race day. So there's
Sure they are.
not as many, but it's pretty exciting. I went out, and the other thing too that I want to make sure and talk about is that we had announced originally that we were going to be doing a weigh-in and safety check this coming Saturday, the
Sure.
23rd. We have decided, because of the number of racers that have experience with this, we've decided to cancel that day.
Don't even need to do that.
Don't need to do it.
Okay.
However, anybody that wants one of the organizers to come out and do a safety check on their car to make sure that they're not going to have a problem on race day, we will come out and we'll schedule a time. We'll come out one-on-one and take a look at your car.
Oh, isn't that a
and
nice
make
service?
Make sure that you're all good to go, because we don't want anybody to have any problems on
No,
race day.
no.
But we also didn't want people to have to train.
Inconvenience to, yeah, sure.
And with so many repeat racers.
We already know they're good, or they
Right.
already know they're good.
And we have at least 3 different groups coming in from outside of town.
Okay.
So we've got them taken care of as far as that goes as well, to make sure that they're good to go. But yeah, and any questions at all, we're here to answer questions. We're excited about getting this, having this again. Just take a look at make sure I'm hitting all my points here.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and like I said, the other thing that we're going to do this year that we think is going to help people out, we're not going to start the race as early as last year. We're going to start around 1 o'clock.
Okay.
People can come down before that. The pit area, which is always the parking lot right across from City Hall.
Yep.
The pit area will be available for drivers and their teams starting at 8 a.m.
All right.
That
gives them plenty of time.
Right, it gives them plenty of time.
Sure.
The volunteers are going to be starting around 10 a.m. And then I know Hy-Vee is going to be selling lunch, like I said, and other food over in the CBI parking lot. The other food vendors will be down in the area. But what we're going to do is we're going to run the races up until just before the parade starts. Clear off of Iowa Avenue, so the parade will have a path to go through. And if everything goes according to plan, we'll have bleachers out there that we'll have there for the races, but then people will have bleachers to sit on during the
For
parade.
the parade, won't that be a
So
nice service?
That's one detail that I'm hoping I'm not wrong about, but
Yeah.
that should be all in order.
Sure.
The other thing that we're doing then is once the parade finishes and people have time to get back to the viewing area, we're going to run the finals.
Oh, neat.
And
So it's kind of going to do a little
Right.
bit and then this. Okay.
Yeah, so that'll
Perfect.
and Tony Tone is going to be working with us again this year, so he'll be doing the announcing. We'll have that set up right about the same spot as last year on the Stanley Plaza there, right on the corner
Sure.
of 3rd and Iowa. So what kind of do you have any questions about the Derby?
Well, people were asking about how much it costs.
Oh, right. That was something else that we changed part way through the year. So the entry fee has been $80, and we were because of the change in leadership and some other things that were kind of confusing in the beginning of the year, I felt we weren't getting enough entries. And so we decided let's take the fee off this year. It's not. We had enough money in our account to cover things this year. We weren't going to need the entry fee to pay any bills to make sure the event happened.
Right.
So let's just make sure it happens. And so we decided to go ahead and drop the entry fee now. And if anybody that has already paid the fee, because we had a number of people signed up before we made that decision.
Okay.
We'll be writing you a check.
Perfect.
So that's you'll get your entry fee back. There's no you're not going to be penalized for doing it in a timely manner. So we're opening that wide up, and we're going to look at next year having a different fee structure.
Okay.
You know, this year, like I said, we added the youth division this year.
Sure.
You know, we have an art and a speed division. Those are the two different adult divisions, is art and speed. And so we may play with that a little bit, bring that cost down, because we don't want that to be a barrier to people entering the race. We also, another thing that we changed, there used to, the past 2 years, there was a limit on what you could spend on the car. And that was a very difficult thing to monitor.
Oh, I bet.
Because some people would get donations, and do you count that for what it's worth, or do you count it as $0? You know, all these other things. So we took the limit off. So there's no spending limit on the car, which, you know, you can, basically we feel that way. We're not pushing anybody to be dishonest.
Sure.
Or to try and get real creative with math.
Right.
Just, you know, I mean, some people have a lot of talent and access to, you know, inexpensive parts. Other people like me, I had a sponsor and, you know, not as much talent in building the car.
There you go.
You know.
So it's about having fun.
Absolutely.
Building the car, racing the car. It's not about who wins.
No, there are trophies.
There are trophies.
Yeah, there are trophies. We
probably quite coveted, but
yes, you know, there'll be a number of categories outside of just the time. So there'll be, you know, there'll be people's choice and things like that.
Sure.
You know, that will be awarded as well. And, you know, and there'll be some little prizes that go along with any of the races that happen.
Sure.
So we're
well, it looks like they were
it.
having fun last year.
Yeah, that was actually the first year. That was 2016.
The first
yeah, that was 2016.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, that was we had a number of out of town racers come that first year that had some pretty interesting cars. And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Very good.
It's kind of, you know, being the 4th of July, it's during the warm part of the year, so it gets pretty toasty.
Oh, sure.
Last year was pretty hot. We're gonna, you know, I would encourage people to make sure, you know, check the weather, wear sunscreen. We did have a discussion, you know, what happens if it rains. If it rains enough that the parade would be canceled, obviously we're not going to race. There are safety concerns that go along with racing, you know, these types of vehicles with water on the ground. But we have access to be able to clean the street up a bit if necessary. So if it's a light rain, we should be good to go.
Okay.
If there's
like
a heavy
today,
rain,
probably not.
the rain we had today, no, that would not be. And I don't know.
That wouldn't work.
I know a lot of people. I got some funny looks today. I don't know if anybody watching happened to be driving, you know, on Mulberry today during a heavy part of the storm and see some insane person on a motor scooter. But
there you go.
That was me. If you did see it, and I was completely soaked.
Feel free to share that video if any of you did see it.
Yeah, I would love to see it. That would be quite funny.
Sure would.
So.
Well, I think this is going to be a great event.
Yeah.
You know, I think the community, it's, like I said, it's been going on forever with that little lapse in there that we can't figure out why. But thank you for stepping up to the plate and making sure that it continues.
The other thing too I want to get in is that if anybody is interested in getting involved, if they want to volunteer, if they want help getting, you know, just figuring out how to start, you know, reach out to us. We are here about getting people involved and just having fun with it. And that's, you know, so ask questions, reach out, we're here to help.
So if somebody just is like, oh, that sounds like fun, but I don't have a car, I don't know how to build a car, I know nothing, reach out to you and you'll get them hooked up.
Yeah, we'll get them going in the right direction.
Very good. Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else?
No, I think that covers it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yep,
we really appreciate it. It's going to be great. We know it is. Oh, good. So I just wanted to share last couple things as we close out tonight's show. Next Tuesday, our guests on Our City are Jody Royal Goodwin, our housing director here at the Muscatine City Hall, and Brett Talkington, our police chief. He's going to talk to us about all the new rules for fireworks we got going on this year. Coffee with the Mayor is the next Saturday, the 23rd. Actually, you know what? That's this Saturday. I'm off a week. This Saturday, 9 o'clock. Happy Joe's. The council meeting is Thursday night at 7 o'clock. The agenda was just starting to come out at the end of the day today. And of course, we're all in the process of working towards a great 4th of July, like the Soapbox Derby, Kids First Fund, the parade. It's going to be a great day. Let's all pray for good weather. We wanted to wrap up tonight by just showing you some pictures of the new library. You know, it opened up Friday, soft opening. We'll have a grand opening coming up in a couple weeks, but what an amazing facility we have for our new library here. Lots of folks coming out, and it's the talk of the town. Everybody's coming out and saying, have you been to the new library? It's so beautiful. It was a gorgeous building to begin with, and then all the renovations they did to make this fit into being a library. It took more work than you would think to switch any old building to being a library. For one thing, one of the big things that they had to do was reinforce the floors, because we all know how heavy books are, but can you imagine how many books are in a library? So that there's certain regulations on how much weight a floor holds and needs to hold to be a library. So there was a lot of that stuff going on. There's all kinds of nooks and crannies to curl up with the book at the new library. I know Pam Collins, she was just on here a couple weeks ago. Her and her staff have worked very hard to get such a wonderful collection at our library. They worked through all of the books that they had, making sure that they weeded out the ones that were taking up space and not read a lot, to getting in new ones that the community is really going to wrap themselves around and want to read. Look at this new computer station. You all remember the old library, the computers they had there, right there on the main floor when you walked in. Now there's a little bit more privacy, a much better room acclimated to being used for a computer room. Look at this big wide open windows to look out and sit in the sunlight and read a book. Nice community spaces too. There are several different rooms that you can use for your community event, your community meeting. Look at this huge room here. If you have a group that meets together regularly or just occasionally needs a space to meet, get a hold of the library, because they have all kinds of spaces that are available now for the community to use whenever they need. Parking is wonderful at the new library. They have their own parking lot in the back. Very easy to get in and out of. Look at these spaces. Isn't that nice? All new, fresh. The furniture's all new. Amazing. Books, books, books. They have done such a great job transforming. Please get over to the new library and check it out. I'm sure you'll be glad you did. Thank you to all of you for joining us this week. We appreciate you coming. We appreciate you sitting in. If you have any comments, if you have any wishes for guests in the future, please shoot us an email at ourcity@muscatineiowa.gov or get a hold of me. You can find my contact information on the city's website or call me here at City Hall. Thank you for joining, and thank you for being part of our city.
Our City with Mayor Diana Broderson replays on MPW Channel 9, Wednesday at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. and Thursday at 7 a.m. Of course, we're live every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. on Facebook. Email us at ourcity@muscatineiowa.gov.